If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
We're going to plant a black raspberry bush in a container. Sponsored by
migardener.com, with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents. migardener.com.
So we're going to plant this black raspberry Bristol in this container. It's about a 25-gallon plastic container here. Now this is a very popular Midwest variety with firm, attractive, glossy black raspberries, excellent for canning, freezing, and eating fresh. Now if you're going in the ground, you want to plant this about every 6 foot apart because these are going to get big. But with one in a container, it'll be fine. You still have to maintain it as you would if it was in the ground. You have to cut back the old canes the following year. Now this is a one that we got from Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center here in Greenfield in the Milwaukee area. They're a primary sponsor of our radio show, The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, and you can find more information in the show notes below. So what we're going to do here, we've got this container filled with compost and potting mix. You don't want to use native soil. It's going to be very dense. It's not going to grow, the plants will not grow well in a container because there's not the microorganisms that are required to break the soil apart like you would in the native soil. So we've got potting soil, we've got compost here. We're going to enrich the soil with some Sustain 8 to 4 here, the recommended rate, and then we're going to get this planted. So what we want to do is, we've mixed all this together, the potting soil and the compost, and I know by the recommended rate on my hand here how much we need to put in here. Get that. Now we want to mix this in. Now with a container, you want to be reminded that as it rains, as you water, the soil, it leaches nutrients out, and you're going to have to replenish those nutrients, whether with Sustain or a liquid fertilizer or a granular fertilizer, once or twice over the growing season. Based on the type of plant, you may need to do it more. You want to be proactive instead of reactive. You want to be ahead of this before the plant shows symptoms of nutrient deficiency. Okay, so another thing when you're doing any type of containers, notice here I'm about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the top of the container. We don't want to brim this thing full because when it rains, it's going to flush the soil out. We want to keep all this soil in. You've paid good money for it. We want to keep it in the container. So now I've got a hole dug here. I'm going to loosen this up a little, get some more out. And we want to, one, put the marker here so we actually know what it is. And two, we want to get this thing out of the container. And it's going to come out fairly easy. I'm going to put this here so I don't fill the hole up with the mix that I've already dug out. So you can see the roots are not bound up at all. Now what I will do, it's very loose, it's the way it's grown. Now here's the interesting thing about raspberries. Notice these shoots here. These are not weeds. These are actually roots that are coming off the main stalk here. Raspberries are known, and some berry plants are known to propagate by underground and then shoot up. So the rhizomes, I guess you'd call them, or underground growth tips. But yeah, if this was in the ground, we'd plant it here, these would come up, and then a couple, and then some more here. So keep that in mind if you're growing them. You don't want them to spread a certain area. You might want to contain them in some form or fashion. So I'm going to, and you can see that's one there that has come up. These are additional ones there. I got one over here. I don't see any more. Okay, so I've loosened it up. Now I could put some fertilizer in the hole of planting. I am going to do just a little bit, and then going to sprinkle a little soil over so we don't have direct soil to fertilizer contact. I'm going to plant this almost at the same depth as it was in the container. I can go just a little deeper, firm it in, bring some of the soil back. Now the other additional thing in which you can do with this is you can bring mulch in, whether shredded leaves, chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings. You could essentially even take a piece of cardboard and cut a slit and set it on here to hold the moisture in. You're not going to really deal with weeds in a container like this, but you're going to deal with moisture loss or evaporation. So that's another thing. It may not be the most appealing thing. Some people may have problems with the potential chemicals in the glue that's in the cardboard, but that is another option. Or if it's a permanent structure like this, you could also bring in about a 1/2 inch of sand or so and hold it in, because on the beach, what's underneath the first 1/2 inch or so of sand? A lot of moisture and wet sand. So growing a raspberry black raspberry in a container. This holds true for any type of berry bush. Now, if you're growing blueberries, you want to make sure you get a very acidic soil, about a 4-5 to a 5-5, otherwise they will die.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.